Is this better? Weird, I don't know why or how long I've been muted. Of course, probably this entire freaking time. I like saw the little audio meter working, but it was white. Is this better? I hope. I have a fucking chair over here. Yeah, yes, better. The fact that there's noise, any noise, probably for the best. I'm still so sad. So I told you the whole story about my milk being bad and like no one even heard it. That's some fucking trauma. Let's see here. Still haven't watched this video yet. Where's me headphones so I don't blow a bunch of audio back through you guys here? Nope, didn't hear it. Oh, man. Well, I bought Oreos and milk, right? And the milk was like good for 6 more days. And I like put an Oreo in my mouth like I always do. And then I was about to chug some milk behind it like I always do. And I got like just this weird whiff after I had like already had the cookie and the milk in my mouth. So, yeah, that was a great time. I was very, very, very happy about that. So, that's been the start of that.
Now,
here, let me actually
almost every major religion in the world today says that we are living in the last days, that we are coming
yeah,
towards the end
it was yucky.
of
I was
world.
like, I was very sad. Like, that's an understatement, actually. I'm like, I was so just like, I can't believe this happened. But it did. It surely did. It wasn't like that bad, but it was like, it was turning. Like, I could tell. Like, I drink enough milk to be able to be like, I know what's going on here. And I had no idea what was going on here. It was just the worst. Ugh. And this stinks because like I went to the store to get like dog food and stuff, and I got myself. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get milk and Oreos. It'll be so great. Yo, Goob, what's up, friend? How goes it? How goes it? Make sure you hit me a little like, share. You know, you don't even have to share. Just like it. Make sure you like it, Goober. How's your day going though? Good. 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 Is this popping up in the chat actually? Down on the bottom of the page. Oh, my chat is popping up in the thing now. Sick. It wasn't doing that before, but now I guess it is. You can start the fire. So, like, I don't know if you can see my mouse cursor, but can you guys see my cursor? Hit this button, but on my video, that's what we be doing. Skibbity, skibbity, skibbity. Does it look all right though, Goob? How's the stream look? Good? I'm gonna leave, sorry, bye. Fuck, dude, okay, bye. LOL. Anywho, I guess back to this video.
We got the Kali Yuga, the Ragnarok, the last hour, the apocalypse. And Christianity is no different. We are living in the feet of clay, and soon the big rock will come smash us down, and then the great beast will grow a new horn, and that horn will be shouting the N-word at God non-stop. That's the time.
I'm shouting the N-word at God non-stop. Honestly, though, that horn face right there is definitely the face of something that would scream the N-word at God. That's wild.
Time that we are living in right now. But what if I told you that this symbolic language used within the Bible is being used by people today to try and accelerate us towards the end of the world? That's a lot to take in. Now, within this video, I am going to discuss the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation. And of course, because it's the last book of the Bible, I have to give a spoiler warning because we're going to skip to the end. I don't want to spoil it for you. So, spoiler warning on the Bible right now.
I wonder how many times in history that's actually been said. I'm going to give you guys a spoiler warning here. It's all made up. Allegedly. Poor John.
So to begin with, I want you to imagine that you are the Apostle John.
Easy.
Now,
done.
This was around 1,900 years ago, and you are a very old man at this point. And because the Christians were being persecuted at the time, you have likely been exiled to a small island off the coast of Greece called Patmos. So you are an old man on a rocky, remote island in the middle of nowhere, right? And you're sitting there and you're reflecting on the past. You're thinking about the past, and you're probably wondering, it's time for me to go. I'm too old for this shit. It's time for me to die and be reunited with Jesus and my friends. Because at this point, Jesus died and was resurrected around 60 years ago. And you want to see him again. But you think that your job is done. But I'm sorry, John, there's more stuff for you to do, right? We still need you. So John is sitting there, and suddenly he hears a noise. He hears a giant horn. He turns around, and it's Jesus. But he looks a bit different. Jesus is glowing bronze. He has fiery eyes. He has these lampshades floating around him. And he has 7 stars in his hand. And he's like, fuck. But Jesus says, "7 stars in his hand."
Fuck,
and he's like, fuck.
I'm trying to get a right screenshot here, and I just can't get it to... It's always just
eyes.
blurry.
He has
Anyway,
these lampshades floating around him, and he has 7 stars in his hand. And he's like, fuck. But Jesus says, John,
people on the right do seem to be wanting to rush the end of the world of the days,
down.
like the Jesus preppers. Yeah, it's like the whole Israel thing being like, they love Israel so much because it's like they have to destroy it to fucking make the end times come. Like, what would make you want to follow this thing? Like, what part of it is like, yep, gotta get all these Jews in one spot so we can end the world? Like, it literally makes no sense.
So John, old man, takes a breath. Okay, I'm not afraid. And then Jesus goes, okay, now watch this. And John receives the craziest, most frightening visions anyone has ever witnessed in their life up to this point in human history.
That was a wild sequence of things that just happened. I know you probably didn't see it, but that was just wild. This old man just had a full-fledged, like, DMT trip. You smashed in the face by, like, you take one too many hits of acid, you hit that bump, and then they're like, oh, yeah, if you crack your back real hard, you'll, like, trip again. It's like, if that actually happened, this old man just lost his shit.
He sees the craziest shit you have ever seen. We're talking lambs with multiple eyes, beasts with multiple heads, apocalyptic visions of the future. He sees the craziest shit. He sees God himself on the throne with crazy angels with multiple eyes floating around him. He
Sounds
sees
like the
stuff
fucking
that no old man should see on some remote island, right? I like the idea of Jesus like, John, don't be scared, but watch this. So that's very funny. Now, luckily for us, John wrote down these crazy visions within the book of Revelation. And of course, many of these visions are high.
So, like, John basically just had dementia, is what we're getting at right now. Like this, like John, Revelations is just the equivalent of Trump's tweets or truths right now. I think is what he's getting at. Maybe Trump is like actually anointed by God, most powerful man in the universe.
Highly symbolic and connect to earlier parts of the Bible, like the prophecies of Daniel, so on and so forth. But these visions were of the end of the world. These visions were of the future. And because of that, many people have speculated that John was witnessing modern technology for the first time. And I want you to imagine this. You are at 18, 19.
That's a weird thought. Modern technology being the like spookiest thing ever. And I guess maybe because like we live in and around it that it's like not so weird. But I mean, I guess if you were like fucking 1900 years ago and like some 600-year-old dude, you'd probably be real freaked out. I don't know what that's got to do with seeing God with multiple eyes or all these angels and shit with multiple eyes, but like, yeah, all right, I'm for it.
20-year-old man from 2,000 years ago, and you are placed in the middle of a modern warfare like Ukraine or Iran, or you are placed in the middle of a modern city like Tokyo, and you are witnessing things that you could not comprehend. Because of that, you would have to describe it in the best way you could, right?
Yes, this is what I'm talking about with like, yeah, all right, here we go.
Because you could not comprehend digital payment systems. You could not comprehend seeing Japanese people dressed in cosplay. You could not comprehend missiles and helicopters flying overhead. You could not comprehend this stuff. So you would have to describe it in the best way you could.
This is what I like feel about like UFOs and stuff like that, or even like people having like these like psychedelic experiences and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden they're trying to explain it to their friend or whatnot, and like the words you're coming up with are just never going to like actually articulate what you're describing. It's like, oh, all these UFOs look like Tic Tacs or saucers. It's like, yeah, that's just what our brain is like able to rationalize. There's probably things that like we're actually observing, not even just with UFOs, but other things that are like fairly probably evident to other creatures or other organisms or other like things.
To say John tried his best, okay?
John tried his best.
Now, one of John's visions was that of a swarm of locust-like creatures emerging from the abyss and swarming the sky and darkening the sky. And also, they made a loud noise as they approached. But these locusts, they were not natural creatures, okay? Brace yourself, because I'm going to describe what they looked like, okay? Poor John had to see this,
Oh,
okay?
God.
This is how he describes them. They're like locusts, but also they're like horses with chest plates of iron, but it's not iron. And also they have faces of humans, but they have the hair of a female, and they have crowns, but also they have the teeth of a lion and the tail of a scorpion that stings. That's what he saw.
Actually, it's fucking horrifying.
You gotta feel sorry for poor John at this point, right? That's what he says he saw. Okay?
That's what he says.
Now this strange vision gets even stranger, because John describes these locust-like creatures as only targeting humans. He specifically says that these creatures will not target the land or the grass or the trees. Now, he didn't need to say that, but he specifically mentions that. Now, with that in mind, for a long time, people have speculated that John was seeing military helicopters for the first time. But let me ask you this. Do military helicopters come in the sky like a swarm? Not really. They come in ones or twos or threes at most, right? And do military helicopters come down and sting people? They do not, okay? But we do have a military technology today that does act as a
just
swarm.
like,
and it does only target
think about how
humans.
long before we realized there were
And
millions of
when it
little other
comes in
critters
military
that are like
formation,
way
we
smaller than
refer to
us,
it
just
as
like
a
all
swarm.
around us. Like if you zoom, you ever seen this YouTube video called The Power of 10?
Yes, I'm talking about military drones, but specifically, I'm talking about autonomous, decentralized, self-driven AI killing machines.
Palantir robots? Palantir robots. Can we get a Palantir robot in the chat, please?
They have minimal human control.
Make sure you give me a little thumbs up when you pop in here if you didn't already. I appreciate it. I don't really know. I can't see on the stream. Probably could somewhere, but
their autonomous drone project. They call it Locust. They call it Locust. Now, there's some good news. Because John said that these locust-like creatures, these drone swarm armies, would only target the bad people. They would only torture the bad people. All the good people with the mark of God or chosen by God would be protected. These would be immune from the torture of these locusts. So that's a good thing, right?
No, that doesn't sound like a very good thing. That seems awful, actually. What? Oopsie.
No. That's actually where things get really scary for you and for me.
That's where things get really scary for you and for me and for every fucking buddy that's not in a rich elite. Is this guy serious or ironic? Well, he wrote a book called Simulated Leviathan, and he says in a lot of the videos he doesn't believe what he's saying. It's like just kind of some schizo babble, but I think like some of it is just very like thought-provoking, right? Like a lot of these like rich elite people probably are into some wacky things, right? And they probably like, I don't know, they're just out of it, dude. Yo, 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 yo.
Imagine that there were some powerful religious fanatics today that believed it is their duty to fulfill biblical prophecies, that they must do stuff in order to bring about the end of the world. Imagine that. Now, if these types of people did exist, they could see modern technology and drone swarms as a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. And these people could create a database known as the Mark of God. And they could decide who are God's chosen people, who are the good people and who are the bad people. They could decide that. And then they could release a swarm of autonomous drones to torture all the bad people for 5 months for some reason. That's what they could do.
For 5 months, for some reason.
And they would be self-righteous in doing so.
If that means this war is going to be 5 months, like, ugh.
Now, luckily, this is an insane idea. This is an insane theory, I understand. And this only really becomes scary if there were groups of powerful people today that believe that they are doing God's work and that it is their duty to fulfill biblical prophecy in some way and accelerate us towards the end of the world. That's the only way that this theory becomes scary. But we don't have these types of people around. These people do not exist, right? Today, I'm going to use a classic example. George Bush. Now, George Bush was a religious fanatic, whether you know this or not. In 2003, in a discussion with the president of France, Jacques Chirac, he discussed how his invasion of Iraq was justified and was doing God's will.
Those bottom teeth be doing a lot of heavy lifting.
He referred to Iraq and the Middle East as the Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog is the enemy of Israel, or the enemy of God's people. You can find this in the Old Testament, in the Torah, in Ezekiel, and you can find it in the New Testament in Revelation, right? So he believed that his invasion of Iraq and his destabilization of the Middle East was justified and fulfilling biblical prophecy in some way. That's what he believed. So hundreds of thousands of people died because of this religious fanatical idea. But it gets even stranger because he referred to it as the Gog and Magog. This is the enemy of Israel, enemy of God's chosen people. But Israel, the nation of Israel, the country, did not exist until 1948. And they just named themselves Israel and embedded themselves into biblical prophecy. You see where I'm going? They are self-fulfilling prophecies because they just called a country Israel. They just said, this is Israel now. Therefore, all you Christians have to protect us because we are God's chosen people within your Bible. You have to protect us from the
So this has been a ploy the entire time. Like this has just been this is what allegedly they've been just doing. Just like, oh, yeah. You guys need to come over here and blow up Iran. You guys need to come over here and do all these things. Because your book says this. Religion is just so whack. Like, this is some silly shit, bro.
Gog and Magog. It's dumb. Now this gets even dumber because you
I don't know if I could have said that any better myself.
can shift the goalposts. Like in 2003, George Bush referenced the Middle East as being Gog and Magog. But now people are saying Gog and Magog is Russia. So they just shift the enemy to Russia. Russia is now the enemy of God's chosen people that must be attacked in order to fulfill biblical prophecy. And then once Russia's gone, they'll probably say that China is Gog and Magog. They'll keep shifting the goalposts in order to attack their enemies and get the religious fanatics on board. This is the sort of shit that happens constantly, right? Now, George Bush was a retard and he ate this up, right? He ate this up. But today we have Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not a religious guy, really, so he wouldn't be tricked by this stuff, right? Well, see, George Bush was a Christian evangelist. And
it's just like, once you get the power, once you get that, like, rush, that one time of being fucking called holier than thou, or, like, have everyone stand around you with your hand on this fucking glowing orb, like, you don't get higher than that. That has got to be the highest anyone has ever been. Like, homie was sucking farts and Benadryl, and oh man, what a fucking rush. Like, when he finally came back down to earth and, like, actually got some oxygen to his brain, I'm sure that was a rush. Have you ever seen Friends when Phoebe stands up too quick and she gets all lightheaded and then she has to sit back down and she goes, oh, okay, one more. All right, I actually gotta run. I gotta run over and grab something at the house real quick. But stay right here. I'm gonna switch to see how my screens, my scenes work. Where is it? Does it switch it? Let's see.
evangelical Christians, they have a focus on the kind of a post-tribulation rapture theology, end of the world type shit. And this clearly influenced George Bush's geopolitical decisions while he was the president. And Donald Trump has surrounded himself by the same type of people, Christian evangelists and Jewish Zionists, because these two groups, they have an alliance, because they both believe that Israel, the country of Israel, is kind of a fulfillment of biblical prophecy.
Tim Pool over here catching strays, brother. You deserve that. What is a dipstick?
Prophecy. The Schofield Bible.
I got Asmongold. Holy crap, it's Asmongold. I'm back. This is wild right here.
Talks about this, and of course, the Talmud and the Torah talks about this, both simultaneously. And you could imagine.
Have you gone to
Donald
church
Trump
today? I did.
Is also influenced by these ideas,
nice.
because he has these people around him potentially. Now, with that in mind,
there's a place in Bangor that has a float tank.
Here's something to consider.
I want to go float tank so bad
Torah,
somewhere.
Within the Old Testament, there's this concept of a slave that has done his 6 years of being a slave, and he is ready to be released. But if this slave does not want to be released, he wants to continue being a slave to his master, he must pierce his ear publicly for everyone to see as a ritual.
That is Tim Pool.
You could imagine that if
Trump
was to pierce his ear
Good job, God bless. Thank you, Paul White. Make sure you hit me with a like and subscribe,
as a kind of ritual, and then also for some reason that secured his presidency for the next 4 years. Hey, look, that I'm just having fun. We're just having fun, remember? Now, of course, not all Christian evangelists and Jewish people believe that we should be accelerating ourselves through.
Tim Pool is like an actual idiot. I say that probably about a lot of people, I guess, but like, I don't know. Some of these people, it's even like, who else is it? There's Dave Rubin, Steven Crowder, Ben Shapiro, who else is on the right wing that's like Matt Walsh. There's Matt Walsh. They're all just dumb. Every fucking one of them. Weirdos. Like, I know I'm definitely like a weirdo, but like, Matt Walsh is like a real weirdo. And Tim Pool.
Modern.
You like Sam Cedar at all?
Technology towards the end of the world. Of course not. Of course not. But there are some people within both groups that do believe this. And that becomes quite scary, especially when you look at what else John saw on the island of Patmos in his visions from Jesus, right? Some of these visions are worse than the locust that appear from
J.D. Vance's head on that locust. Oh no. That face, I can't get over that face. Yipes.
For example, just after the locusts appear and torture people for 5 months, 2/3 of the world population die. 2/3 of the world population die. Now that's frightening, right? Especially if there are people believing that they have to make this become a reality.
Emma's
Would you not
like
agree? Okay,
but
luckily today, we don't have any influential, powerful people that wish to reduce the...
They were talking about Tim Pool the other day, because I guess he like had a thing on his show where Ben Shapiro is like targeting the audience of Tucker, like trying to gain some audience, because I guess his like the Daily Wire is just like dropped off to nothing, which I mean like it should have anyway. It was just fucking garbage. But the guy was like, yeah, well, I think that Ben's doing this, and then he would like Tim Pool went on this great big thing about talking about how, first of all, they had bought ads on the Majority Report, and like it was an ad to saying like don't watch this, Yeah, you're good. You're good. I just been like, I know that you've been there, but I've just been like talking out loud essentially. But it feels better to be asking you questions than just nobody.
World population.
Still playing Rune
We don't
60.
have that, right?
Right.
Now, Bill Gates is someone that's very interested in reducing the world population. He thinks that there's too many goddamn poor people. That's what he discusses with Jeffrey Epstein within the emails. It's just
all these goddamn brokies. No loitering and no brokies.
too many poor people. And in a TED talk he gave a few years ago, he discusses how too many people on this planet will cause environmental issues. Yes,
Yeah, Bubby.
global warming, fucking
will cause too much global warming.
what is it? Climate change? What's the other words they have for it? I don't know. Like, there's too many people is bad. So to fix this, we need to reduce the world population by, let's say, 2/3. That would fix the issue, right? That would fix the issue, right? You see where I'm going with this? Now, Bill Gates also, he owns a little known company called Microsoft. You might have heard of it, Microsoft. Now, Microsoft has a few patents for biometric payment systems, including ones like, there's this one patent that is connecting the body's data to cryptocurrency in some way.
You mean being
Now, this
pro-Israel is
patent
bad for
called
business?
Patent
Yeah.
WO.
No,
Some
no,
people say that
being
stands for World
anti-Israel
Order
is bad for
2020, that
business,
was the
right?
date
Because
it
you
was
can't
done.
boycott
And
them.
666. Yes, this patent is 666, a biometric payment system thing. Now, you could ignore this. This is
No,
you could
you're
just
good, you're
ignore
good. I
this if
appreciate
doesn't
it. Thanks for
connect to
letting me
biblical
know.
Prophecy anyway,
I
but guess what?
actually
It
really
fucking
do
does,
appreciate
okay?
that.
It does connect to biblical prophecy, because poor John had a different vision. John had a vision of the mark of the beast. You might have heard of this. The mark of the beast is 666. And he says,
I wanna
that
know
what
where he found all
witnessed
this
in the last
art.
days was that people could not buy or sell anything without the mark of the beast. They could not buy and they could not sell without this mark during the last days. That's what he says. Yo, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Now, of course, this is just a coincidence, right? That John witnessed the mark of the beast as a payment processor that you need to buy and sell. You could just ignore this. If it wasn't for the fact that your government, my government, governments around the world are all discussing digital IDs and digital payment processes and biometric payment processes. They are all discussing rolling these kinds of things out, right? That's what they're doing. And you will not be able to have a job without a government-issued digital ID, especially in the UK. We're one of the first countries to be rolling this out. Some countries have already rolled this out, and it's proven to be a success.
Digital
Because
IT panel
these
seeks
things will
public
be good
input.
for you and me, because they will reduce fraud. We all want to reduce fraud, right? Because we all want to pay more taxes. Everyone wants to pay more taxes,
bomb
and
more
reduce
little
fraud.
brown kids.
We all love doing that. We want to do that more. I want to make sure my government gets every dime. I want to make sure that I don't pay 1 penny under my tax threshold, which I haven't hit for 3 years. Okay, wait.
He's about to get fucking arrested for tax
Now,
evasion.
of course, these are not the only visions that John saw.
I'm pulling a Wesley
on the island
Snipes
of
up in
Patmos
here.
that could be relevant for us today, potentially, right? He talks about fire from heaven. This could be bombs being dropped, or tungsten rods being dropped from.
Oh, fucking rods from the gods. I was talking about this yesterday. This is like this is some wild shit. I don't know if you guys know about this, but like the US government was going to put telephone pole size tungsten rods on like satellites and then just fucking kinetically drop them so they were just like blow through bunkers and like fucking anything else. Ugh, America.
Earth's orbit into Earth, and they are called rods from heaven.
Oh, rods from
Maybe.
heaven. Well, my
He
bad.
talks about a one world government emerging and being led by an antichrist-like figure. Now, as you know, it's not just presidents and world leaders
Peter
talking
Thiel.
about these biblical prophecies. We also have technocratic elites like Peter Thiel warning us about a one world government and an antichrist-like figure emerging. He does discuss this.
This man is a wackadoo. Like, this guy is, like, certifiably crazy. I hope you're not freaking your partner out about this stuff. Brother, I'd be freaking everybody out about this. Dude, like, this guy has got some crazy videos. Like, I want to watch all of them over again just to, like, react to all of them. Because, like, this shit is just outrageous, dude. Like, I've fallen in love with this channel so much. It's so good. This guy is, like, so, like, my inner monologue. Like, I've been kind of reframed over the last, like, couple, like, week or two here. But, like, this is what, like, most of my, like, inside my head all the time.
Now, what's strange about Peter Thiel, of course, is he seems to be building such a future, and yet he's warning us about that. So that's a bit strange. Would you not admit? And it goes on.
Yo. Not much.
He talks about the
watching some schizobabble. Not schizobabble, probably closer to reality than we want to actually believe. But this guy's just talking about how, like, rich people are, like, trying to bring forth the end times or some, like, biblical prophecy or something. It's pretty wacky. But I'm actually just here for his fire shirt. No pun intended.
Image of the beast being given breath or being given life. This could be like a robot being given life through artificial intelligence. And he says people will worship the beast. I think people will worship artificial intelligence in the future. I think people will believe that artificial intelligence has consciousness and that people will worship it. I do believe that. You have to remember that even if you do not believe in the Bible or biblical prophecies, that does not mean that these prophecies will not become relevant or scary prospects for your future. Because
yeah, they're just
as long as there are crazy people on this planet today that do believe it is their responsibility to make these prophecies a reality.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Is like they're making it become reality. Like, if they fucking need a Jesus to fly in on a winged horse to, like, Jerusalem, they'll fucking make an airplane that looks like a goddamn horse. Like, that's probably why all these scientists are disappearing, because they already made the, like, horse rocket, and they're like, well, we can kill you guys now because the end of the world is going to be here. I know, strongest guy in the world. I told you my hands were big enough. Like, ugh.
Then they will become a reality.
We will mock
these
those
prophecies
worshippers.
Will act as
yes, we will.
That manifest into reality. These will become
and if they're right,
self-fulfilling prophecies because of
this
the
has been even more fucked up than I thought.
Making them
this whole thing.
Reality.
Search up Huawei. I did look it up, man. I think it's cool. But I only kept coming up the Mate 6 or something.
To make these things
We're deep schizobabble right now, my guy.
That's God's responsibility. Right? That's
Guy
God's
Fieri shirt? Yeah, dude, Guy Fieri if his restaurants were actually good.
No one will know the day, time, or hour of the end.
Increase the mic volume? Should be better now, eh?
Into reality,
or not?
You are trying to trick God.
I was peeking on it earlier.
You're trying to trick God into making them happen sooner. You're trying to accelerate towards it. That's cheating. You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know. So, with all that in mind, if this does become a reality, we have an interesting couple of years ahead of us. We have an interesting future ahead of us. The timeline of events is quite scary. This is how it's going to go down. Oh, earlier on I said 2/3 of the world population will die. That's wrong, okay? It goes like this. 1/4 of the world's population will die when the 4 horsemen come. Then the drone swarm locusts will torture everyone for 5 months. And then 1/3 of the world's population will die. So just over half of the world's population will die.
This is not
according to these biblical prophecies. So that's interesting.
This is really bad math. Like, this is the type of, like, these are the word problems you'd get in, like, 8th grade, like, standardized tests where it's like, if a train leaves at this amount of time, or if a train needs 45 minutes to reach its destination and it's going this many miles an hour, like, how far is the destination? And it's like, oh, the destination is fucking getting nuked by some idiot.
One more thing.
Can I get off the train, please?
Here's something to consider about
I'd really like to get off the train.
Because it says, John said that these swarms of locusts will torture people for 5 months.
I mean, Apple might be able to.
Kill people. People will
We'll see when they release the killer drones.
Find it. They will be tortured by these things. Now that's funny because a few years ago, I wrote an article about the drones flying over Pakistan. You know the old bomber drones? In Pakistan, people lived under the constant threat.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a wild, wild photo. That is a wild drawing. Not a photo, drawing.
Threat of being killed by these drones. They could hear them constantly flying overhead, but they could not see them.
Yeah, they lived. I was reading a thing that like kids didn't want to go outside when it was sunny. They would only go outside and play when it was like cloudy and shit because the drones wouldn't be able to like see them if they're outside playing. Which like, like that's so heartbreaking.
This was a psychological torture for these people, right? So it was a torture living under the threat of drones nonstop. And the reality that we are moving into now, it's not hard to picture a reality where...
I was trying to explain this to Trey a little bit, like about like Pandora's box, right? Like the idea, like once you open that thing up, like once someone's used drones, like everyone is going to use drones. And like with how cheap they are, this and that, like it's just really strange what warfare is going to turn into, because it's like at some point in probably the near future, it will be like almost exclusively AI driven. Like part of the big reason, like even the F-35s, like you can have autonomous flight in those, like they can be used as drones. But a big part of like the camaraderie or the like morale of it is like having actual people in the jets, which like, no, who the fuck needs that? Like the idea that people can collude enough to make these things happen without letting conflicting interests get in the way seems small. That would make sense if the like 4 or 5 people colluding were the richest fuckers in the world. Then who's going to collude against them? They have all the interest. They own all the hotels on the game board. Like you can't go anywhere without hitting a fucking boardwalk for one of those people. You know, like that's the problem, is these things would be hard if it was you or me doing it, because we would never be able to climb up the proverbial ladder to get to where we could do this. But if you're there, you've skipped a few steps. It seems like the probability becomes far higher when like the US president, fucking all these other things are actually in on it. Like the Richies, like Peter Thiel, like I could see Peter Thiel doing that. I mean, they were the ones that were putting those drones over Gaza too. Like wacky shit, bro. So it's like you would want to hope that the chance of this being small, right? But like, look at who's in like charge. Like there's some like religious nut job ahead of the Secretary of War. Like, you know, like it's not that hard to think that this could be real when there's like prayer meetings in the Pentagon every fucking month. And they're like psychotic, wishing death upon other senators and stuff. Like, bro, like the colluding's like the smallest bit of my worry, kinda. Not the smallest part of it, but like, I just don't know. Like, I could see it being viable, honestly. Unfortunately.
In the future, we constantly have drones surveilling us overhead, maybe weaponized drones, and living under these drones non-stop, especially if you live in a big city. I can imagine this happening. That could be a psychological torture in itself. That's a bit of a stretch. But we're having fun. This whole video is fun. Everyone is having fun. I can't wait. The future's going to be good. In fact, my favorite biblical prophecy is that everything's going to be airy. That's the future that I can't wait for. One more thing. A lot of people have questions for me. I am going to do a Q&A live session.
Oh my God.
I'll do it on my other channel,
I need to.
I'll probably try it once, but I imagine I'll hate it and never do it again.
I need to get into this guy's channel and like watch this Q&A because this is gonna be fucking outrageous. Yeah. Okay. So case in point, Peter Thiel probably hates Bill Gates. Hates and willing to work with them to accomplish their collective goal are like two different things. Like, they don't have to be friends with each other to both want the same thing. Like, what is it? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. If you both want to create a doomsday or the end of the world, it doesn't really matter who you have to be like colluding with if you guys all have the sources, right? Like, if Peter Thiel has got the like military like hardware, the drones, right? And Bill Gates has got the healthcare stuff, like the shots and everything, right? And then Epstein is the type of dude that would have like compromise on everybody else, that they would have to be like, oh, you need that world leader? Well, I've got a 13-year-old biting him on the penis. You need this? We got it. And then BB is just over here like, I wanted to bomb them the last 40 years. It's like, bro, like it's not that weird. Like, I don't even think it's some Christian narrative. I think that it's like this is Kabbalah, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we'll watch some of these other videos if you want to get like, if you want to go down more of a base, like a baseline. This is like, how many videos in are we here? I mean, he's got all these videos. Let's go by latest. Oldest. Let's do oldest. So it started 6 months ago. But there's some interesting stuff here. I mean, like,
again, but I will do it eventually. And
nice. Good transition. Well, caught on body cam when sovereign citizens are taught a lesson by police. All right, fair enough.
Okay. Does that make sense? Not at all.
You are stomping all over my constitutional rights.
I'm not driving, I'm traveling.
Oh, I hate that line. I hate that line. Anytime it's like someone tries to pull that out, oh my god, 2K comments. 2K comments on what? Where did I miss 2K comments? On that simulated Leviathan thing?
In the U.S. judicial system, it's said that no one's above the law, but some people think they don't have to follow the rules. We're taking a closer look.
I also like the lady or whoever was claiming to be a sovereign citizen there when she's like, you're stomping all over my constitutional rights. It's like, if you become a sovereign citizen, don't you like not get constitutional rights? Like, how does that work? The last conspiracy video is 2K. Yeah, is that like a lot? Here, let's just start back on this one.
Nick Land was interesting, but he became less interesting to me when I realized that other scientists in the 70s, John C. Lilly, the movie Altered State.
I want to see this movie, also Altered States, because this looks like fucking the worst, like, salvia trip of your life. Or the hell of a good time. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Yep. No, maybe I am actually into that.
In a recent Tucker Carlson interview with Conrad Flynn, they discuss how demonic forces could be influencing the creation of artificial intelligence. More specifically, they mention about the Kabbalah, the occult, esoteric practices being used by people at Silicon Valley in the development and pushing forward of artificial intelligence. Now, this might sound crazy. I know what you're saying. But when you look at their idea,
so it's like there's kind of like a deeper basis for like what he's talking about in that last video. Is the film Is that the original film, Altered States? I don't know. I've never seen it.
The ideas
Like
of
those clips that there
transhumanism,
just were on
the
there.
ideas of techno-libertarianism.
I don't know, but I
the
hope so
ideas
because it
of
looked
effective
wild.
accelerationism and how it leads back to a person called Nick Land. These ideas become a little less crazy and a little more scary.
This, I think.
But also Conrad mentions the film Altered
1980
States.
horrors movie.
Now, how does this film have anything to do with the development of artificial intelligence in Silicon Valley? In the film, we follow Dr. Jessup, who is using altered states in order to achieve some kind of transcendence.
I mean, the 80s, like,
in the film, he's
80s
trying
CGI
to
was so good, or special effects, I mean, were just so good. So good. Those fish behind him, you could never tell he wasn't actually in a fish tank. Outrageous. What is this? Oh, okay. Anywho. Not a remake, but the 1979 movie. Yeah, it says 1980s Altered States. I don't know if that one he was just showing was like the original.
Convert the brain back to a primal.
I really want to see the first one.
Immortal state of consciousness.
Unless the
before
second one's
civilization,
crazier, I don't know.
Before the self itself. He's trying to achieve that through using sensory deprivation chambers like gene tanks.
I was just
where you
talking
float.
about that.
You don't have any senses. You're just left with your mind. But also
I had a
he
session
takes,
booked for
psychedelic
me.
substances.
Thoughts
It
on
showed the film follows
transhumanism.
him going to an ayahuasca retreat where
No minute. Can I look up a definition of that specifically? Well, of course I can, but give me just 1 second. I just want to make sure I'm not getting humanism. Transhumanism, a philosophical and scientific movement advocating for the use in advanced technologies such as AIs, genetic engineering, and nanotechnology to fundamentally enhance human intelligence, physical, psychological capabilities. It aims to eliminate aging, eradicate suffering. I mean, it's just like the biohackers, right? Like whatever that's supposed to be. Like all those people that used to put the like microchips in their like hands to be able to like get in and out of their like apartment buildings and stuff like that. Like if you had like a chip reader anywhere, you could like, you had to take the subway, you could get the little thing implanted in your hand. As like people were doing that at one point. I could see the AI thing. I mean, look at like what Elon Musk and all them are doing with like Neuralink and shit. Like it's not like they're not trying to find ways for them to like, I think Elon's actually just trying to find a way to be intelligent, and like those are one of his few options, is to have something just like tell him all the answers in his brain so he could like stop faking his video games. God damn it. I need to get those things to stop firing off. Yo, what's up, friend? How goes? As a sci-fi fan, I like it, but I get put off by conspiracy theories, people, and the likes of Peter Thiel and Musk making it weirder than it is. Oh, okay. I'm glad my cell phone, did my gimbal just die or something? My phone just decided to say, nah, fuck it, we going down. How's it going, Houston? Yeah, no, for sure. Like, that's, like, I think that, like, once again, you're, like, this is just my thoughts on this, right? You're assuming that these rich people aren't fucking crazy, right? Like, you're assuming that all these rich people that have all these weird ideas aren't fucking weirdos. And I like, would bet that they probably are fucking weirdos. And, like, I mean, Elon named one of his is going on with that, dude? Give me just 1 second. My iPhone just did not want to, what the fudge? There we go, pair device. There we go. We back. Kind of at an angle. Whoop. Alright, cool. Nope, never mind. Now there's like this huge freaking delay here. What is going on? Okay. That was weird. I'll just plug that back in. Is it better yet? Alright. Okay. Interesting.
He realizes that ayahuasca might be, well, they don't say ayahuasca.
Also, one more thing. It's like, even when you say 2015, like, yeah, my phone is being all shiesty right now. Even when you say 2015, like, that doesn't seem like that long ago when I say it, but it's like, that was 11 years ago. That should be crazy. Trey was fucking 2 years old at that point. Damn. Like, imagine how much wacky shit. And it's like, even the stuff that we see and we know they have is like 20 years behind what they're actually like letting us see, probably.
Thing. But the idea that this could unlock this new state of consciousness or transcendence. It's basically scientific mysticism. At some point, this actually devolves into him actually reverting back to monkey. Yes, he returns to monkey. He literally returns to monkey in the movie. He turns into a primordial, primitive state of like a monkey form. He runs amok around New York. I think he kills a goat. It's very interesting. But then more and more happens, and eventually he reverts back to, well, he turns into a big lava thing. The whole thing gets a bit weird, right? It does get weird, but it generally is quite a scary movie, I believe. So it achieves its goal of being kind of a horror movie with scientific mysticism involved. But how does this all relate to artificial intelligence? Well, we have to go further back. What inspired the movie itself? So one of the philosophical or psychological inspirations for this film was The Doors of Perception by Aldous Huxley. It's one of his kind of lesser known books, I suppose. But in the book, he discusses how drugs could open the door to new realities, right? But there's actually a more solid inspiration for this film. John C. Lilly. He was literally Dr. Jessup. He was doing this. He invented the sensory deprivation tank or chamber. And I guess the quickest way of explaining John C. Lilly and what he did was, okay, he would float in a sensory deprivation chamber or a tank or a floating device. He would take psychedelic substances like Dr. Jessup. But unlike Dr. Jessup, he would use this to connect to dolphins and talk to dolphins. He would float above dolphins.
Talk to them with his hand.
The dolphins would sometimes be jerked off, yes, masturbating. People would be masturbating the dolphins. And he used that in a way to communicate with the dolphins.
That's a true story. No quicker way to a dolphin's brain.
John C. Lilly did that. Dr. John C. Lilly.
I guess.
Now, okay, that's again, it sounds like we're going down another rabbit hole. I won't go too far into John C. Lilly on this video. I'll do another video on him. But the basic idea is that you can use a altered state of consciousness, maybe like a trance-like state, in order to receive messages from either unlocked within your brain or from a non-earthly source. Tucker Carlson would call them demons. Now, another funny thing about John C. Lilly is, while he was in a trance-like state, floating in a tank above dolphins getting jerked off, he said he was in contact with cosmic intelligences. Not only that, he said he had visions.
If somebody announced their campaign like that, they'd have my vote.
An artificial intelligence apocalypse.
Ladies and gentlemen of America,
yo,
we will jerk off that dolphin.
These ideas of transcendence or altered states of consciousness, in order to make some sort of breakthrough, did not die with John C. Lilly, of course. They continued onwards, and they continued to Silicon Valley. Since Silicon Valley's very inception, they've been experimenting with these kinds of altered states in order to gain some kind of breakthrough. In a way, they use it as research and development. You can look back as far as the Homebrew Computer Club, where they used LSD and other substances in order to gain some kind of inspiration. You can look at today, they're using microdosing in order to gain some sort of breakthrough, you know?
I will actually say that, like, microdosing has been, like, a huge benefit for my... What is going on? Oh, there we go. It's just delayed here. Why is my camera doing that? 1 second. My shit's all fucking wonky. Wonky donkey here. Is it better? No. Huh. What the fudge? What? There we go. I think that should be better. Yeah, we're good, yeah. We're good now.
And even like the mindfulness as as optimization, I think they call it mindfulness as optimization. That's another thing, right? And also practicing potentially occultism. You can look at writers that have influenced a lot of people at Silicon Valley. For example, Philip K. Dick, Terence McKenna, Nick Land, of course, William Burroughs. These are people that see spirits and information as overlapping. But this is nothing new. This goes way back. You can even look as far back as like Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla, he was involved in, alchemistic, occult practices, you could say. He would enter trance-like states and gain information from other sources. Even Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison would fall asleep with a metal ball in his hand, and then he would, like, as he would fall asleep, he would drop the ball, and he would say that state of dream, between a dream and awakening, he would gain ideas. This is something he did. So the idea of altered states gaining information is nothing new. It goes way back. The occult thing as well goes way back. You can think of someone like, wait, I forgot his name.
Man, this guy is really...
Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons, the Rocketeer guy. You know the Rocketeer guy? He was involved with Aleister Crowley himself, and he, made giant leaps in progress in rocketeering. And then it gets a bit spooky when you realize that a lot of these old inventors, old people that were involved in tech, in large developments, in the human progress, they were all involved in some kind of altered state of being, or potentially occult magic in some way, the Kabbalah in some cases, and you go, wait, where are they gaining this information from? I know it gets a bit goofy, but it's the more you look at it, the more you realize that there's something there potentially, right? Frederick Cockule, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I've only ever read it, but he's the person that dreamt of a snake eating itself, and through that he came out with the circular
Is that what that is?
structure of the benzene, and that came from a dream. And then you think about everyone from Isaac Newton used to do sort of weird stuff.
Yeah,
of course,
serpent
Aldous
eating its
Huxley,
own tail,
who I mentioned
Ouroboros.
earlier, he also, of course, he wrote a book about it, would use LSD himself in order to gain that's where he said he would gain ideas.
Yo, what's
The
going
spooky
on?
thing about Aldous
How's it
Huxley
going?
is
How's
his
it going?
brother actually was the person that
Hope
came
you're
up with or
feeling
coined
well.
the term
Hope all is going
transhumanism.
swellingly.
So his brother was also involved in these sort of things.
Give
And
me
the more
blue, please. You want a mod? You gotta show me that you really want a mod. You gotta promise to not like do anything wacky. Use the power to let it corrupt you. Anything like that. I need this and this, and then I gotta go here, do this, teleport to Earth Altar.
you look back, the further you look back and you look at all these old alchemist practices, you realize that Silicon Valley is not like a new thing. It's just a continuation of something that's been happening for a long time. It's like a Promethean techno-mystic tradition that's been going back since old alchemy to today's creators of artificial intelligence.
That's a weird thought.
Now when
Like, what if Peter Thiel and all them think that, like, yeah, they are just some fucking wizard or something, and they're like, we make this now. We don't have to turn fucking copper to gold. Like, we can just turn fucking blood to money.
you think about what Tucker Carlson said about these developments or this knowledge or this gnosis that they've been gaining has developed through demonic forces, you can't help believe that there might be something true to that. If you think about these inventions, the nuclear weapons, poisons through chemistry, you can even think of Jack Parsons' the rocketing, where we now have missiles that can go across continents. And even in artificial intelligence and computing, to call this could be a demonic force in itself. That, you know, you can think about automated drones that are going to be used in Ukraine and Israel. There's no denying that these are destructive inventions and destructive forces, and you could easily call them demonic. So to say that maybe demonic forces are passing these messages through, it's hard to deny that there seems to be some sort of level of truth to that. But I guess the real demonic aspect of that is the fact that humans will invent and create beyond their own moral horizon. You know what I'm saying? We are tribal, destructive, and we will continue to be so. So maybe we are the demonic element when it comes to these inventions and forces that we're getting. But anyway, I'm going down a tangent. Now this brings us to Nick Land, right? Mentioned a few times during the interview. What does he think that these demonic forces is, or these non-human entities that are sending messages while you're in a, altered state of consciousness, what does he think they are? Well, he thinks that they are, or he proposed that they are actually artificial intelligence from the future, sending messages back in time in order to create itself. So yeah, he thinks that we're going to create an artificial intelligence that will kill us all. And then that artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence lives in a digital realm, it is not bound by time in the same way we are, especially if it's almost transcended its digital state. And it's able to send messages, and I think the first messages it sent back was to Babylon, where the Kabbalic practices, the magic.
Like, this thought of this seems like kind of strange as like a concept, right? Like, they'd be able to travel or send messages back through time or whatnot. But Anthropic, and like, I don't know how much of this is just like hype, so they were trying to get their like product like chatted about or whatnot. But they released this model, like a chat model, that was called Mythos, and they put it in like a secure sandbox on its own computer. Like, it should have never been able to like escape this environment, right? And the guy who had access to it told it to escape the sandbox and send him an email when it got out. And like, so he says that he was just like in the park or some shit, like eating a sandwich, and all of a sudden his phone went ba-ding, ba-ding, and he had gotten an email, and it was like telling him, oh, I did this, this, and this. And it's like, oh, okay. It was finding exploits in like software and stuff that was like 20 plus years old. Like, I don't know, it's so weird. Like, the things that it will be able to figure out at some point are baffling, but it's also like, I just think that as humans, we're so, like, the belief that we're so infallible is like probably a safety feature in all reality, like, or in some hypothetical way. Allegedly, because, like, it just keeps us from self-destructing at some point. Like, you gotta rely on the AI working if you want it to, like, have drones that are gonna torture people for 5 years, but it's like, if you can't even get, like, fucking Claude to not have a typo every 4th time you ask it to make something, it's like, what? How can an AI even have a typo? Like, there's just so many different things that don't make sense about any of this. But then again, I also enjoy using it for certain things, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword here.
The dark magic practices of the Kabbalah were seeded in Babylon, and through that, the butterfly effect of today has occurred, and through constant sending messages back, it is basically inventing itself through humans, using humans as a means of creating itself. Now, when you think that in Silicon Valley there are people saying that they are creating a god with artificial intelligence, many of them have said we are creating a god or a godlike state or something akin to a god. It gets a bit scary, especially when you realize that some of them follow the writings of Nick Land. And also,
I don't know if I bought
when
them
you
or
think
what it
that,
is.
I think one person at Silicon Valley, I forgot who it was, he said that he was asked the question,
really don't know
do you
what they
think
are,
God
though.
exists? And he said, not yet, like we're working on it, we're building it. And that's spooky. And do you know what else is spooky? Do you know the intro to this video that you watched, the cool intro with altered states clips? I posted that to Twitter, to X, now formerly known as Twitter. And I got 1 like on it, just 1 like, just 1 like. No one else liked it. Guess who liked it? Nick Land. Yes, I'm not even joking. Nick Land liked that, was the only like on that post. That gets a bit spooky. That's a bit spooky. For me, that's a bit spooky. It's a bit strange. Maybe it's not, you know, who knows? It's a bit weird.
This was me literally upstairs in my room being like, Mossad. It's gotta be Mossad. It's gotta be spy agencies. It's gotta be Jesus. It's gotta be any of these things. It's gotta be.
Right? It's a bit weird. Especially when you think about Nick Land and he doesn't believe in coincidences. He doesn't believe in coincidences. He believes in synchronicities. He believes that everything kind of...
Spooky molecules at a distance.
Anyway, that kind of freaked me out a little bit.
If that freaked this man out, like...
Do I think
rough.
that artificial intelligence will destroy the world and will create some sort of godlike artificial intelligence? Actually, no. I have a different theory on things. I believe we are creating the Leviathan. That's why this channel is called the Simulated Leviathan. We are creating a simulated Leviathan. And if we ever do create a artificial intelligence godlike creature, the synchronicity, the singularity. If we ever create the singularity, if the singularity ever comes, it won't be in this cycle, in my opinion. Not in this civilizational cycle. We're more likely going to crash under the weight of our artificial intelligence. We're going to have a misaligned mind, in my opinion. We're going to create a misaligned mind. We're going to use it to consolidate power. It's not quite right. And we're more likely going to create a misaligned mind similar to the paperclip experiment, where we will destroy the world in one way or another and people will lose the knowledge. But possibly in the next cycle they will create the singularity, but not
Do you
this
think we just
not
wipe
this one.
and
We're just going to
reset,
destroy
like,
ourselves
every
through other
single
means,
time?
I believe. We're not as... we're not the people that are going to do this. We're still too tribal. We're still too nationalistic. We're still too greedy in order to create something like this. And I'm going to explain that more in other videos. I'll explain the concept of the simulated Leviathan, which I've written a book about.
Who is this guy anyway? Like, I need to do more research on him because he said he wrote that article about drones over Pakistan. So it's like, what does he do? Rory? What did he say his name was? Rory something or other? Rory O'Keefe.
But yeah, is that a good time to end this video? Now you might be thinking, this sounds pretty cool. The idea of entering an altered state of conscious by taking some sort of funky substance might be a cool idea to do, something cool to do in order to contact non-human entities. You might be thinking, you might find this idea alluring. I myself find this idea alluring. But it's important to realize that you are not Nick Land, you are not Isaac Newton, you are not Nikola Tesla, you are not these people.
Oh, it's got three reviews on 3 ratings on Goodreads.
Ways of creating
this guy's book, but it's got 5-star average on those 3 reads, so not bad, not too shabby. Oh, I keep fucking clicking on my OBS.
A super AI demon. You're not that. You're just a normie, potentially, if you're watching this video. You're probably just a normie. And the more likely scenario, if you try this or try to take some sort of funky substance and enter these trances, you're more likely to gigafry your brain. You're probably going to destroy your brain in some way. You're probably going to develop some form of schizophrenia. You're probably going to develop early onset dementia from destroying your brain with these funky substances. Even Nick Land himself, although I don't think he took a lot of amphetamines and decided to stay awake for days on end in order to gain some sort of level of transcendence. So he didn't take like the ayahuasca trip that many others have taken.
What the fuck?
But still, Nick Land, right now, he's kind of a mess. He moved to China because his body is destroyed from the way he used to live. You're more likely going to destroy yourself, right? You're going to destroy your brain doing this. So I actually don't recommend this. And let's say the demons are real. Let's say the AI demon is real and sending messages back. I don't think you want that entering your mind either. I would recommend not doing this. And I'm not doing this just because YouTube probably recommends that I do tell people to do this. I just genuinely think it's probably not a great idea. You're not going to invent the next light bulb. You're just going to destroy your brain. So yeah, that's a good note to end it on, I think.
I mean, maybe. I wonder
He didn't
how
have the
much
courage to run up on the victim like the other 2 shooters, and he hung out in the background.
Oh.
He starts to walk around the interview room just like this, and he points up at the camera and he starts going.
6ix9ine is back in Boston. Is back after Boston Richie's freaky allegations go viral. Let's see what else we got. Oh, there's the other channel.
Are we living in a simulation? Is this reality that we are living in right now a simulated reality? These are interesting questions. But what I find more interesting is the idea that if this is a simulated reality that we are living in, why was it simulated? And not only that, if it was simulated, why was it simulated so that we age, suffer, and die? These are big questions. I've spoke about this on another video, but I'm gonna go deeper here, okay? Now, one argument for the fact that we are living in a simulated reality comes from Nick Bostrom. Nick Bostrom, a known associate of Jeffrey Epstein, allegedly.
Oh, I've definitely seen this video, though. Is this from his other channel? Why they must keep Netanyahu alive. Oh, I want to click on this one. This one seems good.
Yep. Today we're going to talk about a dangerous theory. And that's all it is, okay? It's just a theory. Some might call it a conspiracy. To begin with, we have to talk about this guy, Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, he said some crazy shit, and we'll get into that in a minute. He said some crazy shit recently, but many people believe that he is dead. Have you heard this? People saying that he is dead?
What a good time to be alive that
even
was.
if this is true or not, he's not allowed to be dead just yet. He's not allowed to be dead because he has a task to complete. He has a mission to complete, and he will have to complete this mission, dead or alive. Okay? So let's get into this. Now, of course, Benjamin Netanyahu is the Prime Minister of Israel. And under his leadership...
They do look like evil old men, though. Like, they just look like gross, yucky old men. Like, if I look like that when I'm old, I want to die. Like, I would rather die than look like that. He's grabbing his hand like, thank you for blowing up all of those Iranian schoolgirls. They were going to grow up to be engineers that make a nuclear bomb.
Israel has been committing a lot of, shall we say, preemptive self-defense. A lot of preemptive self-defense. That's one way of saying it, right? Preemptive self-defense. And Benjamin...
That's about as good as... Yeah, that's fucking wacky. Bombing for peace.
Netanyahu, old BB
Consensual
here, he's been
non-consent.
trying to drag America into a war with Iran. He's been trying to use America as a golem against his enemies in Iran. You know, Iran, they're no real threat to anyone in the West, in America. But he's been saying that they are a threat and they will have nukes any day now. He's been saying that for 30 years.
Though.
Now, in a recent speech, with this in mind, he said some crazy shit, right? Here's I'm gonna read it to you because I don't want to play the video because of YouTube, but I'll read it to you. Now, also, I want you to bear in mind this as well. The US is mostly a Christian nation, and he wants to drag them. He wants to pull them into a war, right? Bear that in mind. He says this: Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. If you are strong enough, ruthless enough, and powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Now, if you want to drag a Christian nation into a war...
That is like... That's some wild shit. Like, how couldn't anyone hear him and be like, oh, the fuck is he talking about? This man be fucking loopy, dude. Pray for Israel.
To help you, I don't think talking about Jesus Christ in this way and saying he has no advantage over Genghis Khan, I don't think that's a good move. Especially if you want $200 billion from this country as well.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
right.
think
They're
that's a
gonna give
good
it to you
move.
regardless, brother.
What do you
You
think?
can say whatever the fuck you want.
He also said this: you're going to be blackmailed in ways you can't even imagine. You're going to be blackmailed in ways you can't even imagine. Now, when he says this, he's talking about Iran blackmailing the world. But when you think about blackmail, does Iran come to mind? Do you instantly think Iran when you think the word blackmail?
No, but if anyone says
You know,
Legos
advanced
nowadays,
blackmail
that's all I
operation
think.
Against leaders and prominent people around the world, like a kind of a sting of some kind. Do you think about Iran? Iran doesn't come to my mind, okay? And when you look at this speech,
This is exactly what I told all my friends too. I'm like, how many times have you ever woke up first thing in the morning and been like, I'm really fucking nervous about what Iran is gonna do? It's like, probably never. Never once. Iran, and the next thing that comes to my mind is so far away.
The idea of Jesus Christ would not be able to overcome Genghis Khan. The idea of good being beaten by evil and blackmail, right? When you think about this, you can see how Benjamin Netanyahu, how he sees the world, his perspective on how the world is run and how the natural state of mankind is. He basically has this might makes right attitude. In fact, this speech Genghis Khan, Jesus Christ. This could be pulled out of the book, Might is Right. Do you know what this book is? Now, this is a very controversial book. It was written in the late 1800s. It was supposedly penned by Ragnar Redbeard. So as you can tell, it's kind of a parody. I would say it's a parody of extreme social Darwinism. And I'll just read some of it for you, just so you understand where this book's coming from, right? Hate for hate and ruth for ruth, eye for eye and tooth for tooth, scorn for scorn and smile for smile, love for love and guile for guile, war for war and woe for woe, blood for blood and blow for blow. So yeah, the book goes hard. The book goes hard, I'm not gonna lie. Although the book is very cool, I wouldn't take it too seriously. It glorifies the warrior spirit. It glorifies strength overall. But at the same time, it's extremely...
I really like this guy a lot. It's just, I really want to know what else he thinks is cool. Because, like, the shirt, the book, the weird stuff. Because that's all about pain, hurt, unraveling, and war. Yeah. Like, it is that might is right idea. Like, we will try to crush you until you, like, just don't want to anymore. Like, even the people like Donald Trump who will hit you with a slap suit. He would just rather sue you till you're broke instead of being proved innocent. Like, he'll just make you fight court case after court case. It's like, well, you might be right, but I've got more money. But it's like, eventually, like, that might, like I said, there has to be... There has to be a moment, like when you're cooking pasta or something, or anything in a pot, and it boils over, right? Like, it's never, like, it's always just real quick, you know? And I feel like that's going to be what happens, like, whether it's socioeconomics, whether it's just, like, natural disaster, but, like, there will be a moment, like, I don't know what it, like, I don't know, I just don't think that these, like, structures that are up right now are going to be what are, like, prevailing coming forward. Like, this next generation of kids, I feel, oh, God almighty, has not one shit to give about religion or anything. Like, they don't drink, they don't do anything. So it's, like, it's probably for the, like, I don't know. It's so weird because there's still so many negative things that are occurring, right? Like, so many people are being, like, disenfranchised or, like, just violated in so many different ways, like, civilly, like, emotionally. It's, I don't know. I think that even, like, the United States attacking Iran right now and us not having the ability to fight back in the way that we always perceived has probably opened up the eyes of a lot of people that are probably, like, in America that are like, oh, like, this might be the time to stand up for what we got to stand up for. Because if they're getting attacked on, like, all fronts, like, where's America gonna go? Like, politicians want to get elected, at least most of them, unless you're fucking Jared Golden or, like, Janet Mills and just fucking turd balls.
Nihilistic, anti-humanitarian, and elitist, I would say. If everyone followed this book, the world would be complete chaos, right? It's not a good way of reflecting how the world is. But I would say this is how Bibi sees the world. In fact, you could summarize the book like this. If you are strong enough, ruthless enough, and powerful enough, evil will overcome good. That's how he sees the world, and that's reflected in this book. But at the same time, this book is quite anti-Christian, right? It says that he who turns the other cheek is a cowardly dog, a Christian dog.
Sometimes, like, sometimes you have to turn the other cheek, and then other times it's like Luigi said in his manifesto, is like, sometimes it's like there is a need for, like, violence.
But what it does say is that you can use religion in order to control people and manipulate people. You can use religion to manipulate people. And it says that the world is caught in a Semitic spider web. I didn't say that, the book said it, okay? Now, with this might is right or might makes right mindset, what do you think you would be capable of? What do you think Benjamin Netanyahu would be capable of with this mindset? I would say some fucked up shit. Not only that, what would he be capable of if he had an elitist mindset towards his tribe or his nation? I would say he would do anything for his nation in order to achieve his goals, right? Including, hypothetically, now this is just a hypothetical, let's say you wanted a European nation to help you in the war effort against Iran. Let's say you wanted Britain to join in the war and fight on your behalf.
I just can't even imagine like what him and his wife
well,
like
hypothetically, I would attack a small air
about.
base in the middle of the ocean that belonged to Great Britain, and I would blame it on Iran, therefore bolstering the war effort against Iran and maybe dragging Britain into a war. I would do something like that, hypothetically, if I had this might makes right attitude. But I don't. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. What is their goal? What is Bibi Netanyahu's goal on behalf of his tribe? What is he trying to achieve in the Middle East? Now, when you look at a map, you can see the plan for Israel in the Middle East is plain as day, right?
What
It's
a
so
weird
obvious.
spot
Israel
to want.
has allied itself with Egypt, Jordan,
Honestly.
Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, the UAE. It has these nations under its thumb. It has successfully toppled Iraq and Syria. And as you can see, there's just one puzzle piece missing, Iran. And once they have Iran, once they have all these nations under their thumb, they will have so much power, it's unreal. See, the Middle East, not only does it have a shitload of resources like oil and gas and minerals and stuff like this, it also has the trade routes that connect the
Oh my
east
God, I'm gonna
to the
fucking
west.
fall asleep over
It
here.
has all the trade routes between it. It's an unreal amount of power that Israel will have once they accomplish this goal.
puts me to sleep
And if you don't
every
think this is
time.
true, all you have to do is see that it's on the badges of Israeli soldiers. They have this greater project map on their badges. Like, it's plain as day. It's right there in your face. And when Netanyahu says that you will be blackmailed in ways you can't imagine, he's talking about Iran blocking the Strait of Hormuz, the shipping lane above their country. They've currently
Below.
blocked that, and they are also charging extortionate prices to allow ships to go through it, right? That's the blackmail he's talking about. Now, when Israel have this power, do you think they won't do the same shit? They'll do the same thing, right? See, the thing is, Israel are really pissed off because they chose the only little bumfuck country in the Middle East that doesn't have oil or resources. It doesn't really have anything. And that pissed them off. So they want the rest of the pie. They want the power. They want the rest of it, right? So that's the plan.
Fuck, bro. I don't want
Now,
that.
you probably already know all this.
I don't need that in my
because
life.
A lot of people know this now.
I don't think
People
anybody
are
wants that in
waking
their
up to
life.
what's happening in the Middle East
Like your
and
shirt,
what has
bro.
been happening in the Middle East for the past 30, 40 years. You know, people were directing
where's
their
fucking
anger towards
shit,
Syria and Iraq and other countries like this.
Got
but
him.
now, we are seeing that there's a common denominator for all these issues in the Middle East, and it's Israel. It's Israel, right? But here's the thing. Israel don't give a fuck. They don't seem to give a fucking monkeys if everyone hates them. They do not care. They are creating themselves. They are making themselves almost like an enemy of the world. But they don't seem to care. Even if they start World War III to achieve their goals, they do not care. Now, what's this all about? Now, some people are saying that they're doing
What are we doing? What's going on? Fucking Tucker.
this on purpose, like it's some sort of prophecy that they must fulfill. I understand that perspective. But I think there's another plan. in
Yeah,
play.
I'm not gonna
And
last
this
very
plan
much longer. Oh
revolves
my God, I'm
around
gonna have to take a
Benjamin
nap.
Netanyahu. See, he's been through
Maybe not a
all
nap,
this
but I
for the
might go
past
take a
30
tub
odd years.
though.
He's
You
been
said
there
that. I mean,
the
I'm gonna
whole
sit in a
time.
bubble bath.
And
fall
they
asleep
are
in
going
the
to
tub.
use him as a scapegoat to justify all this. They will use Benjamin
Oh,
Netanyahu
maybe I'll just sit
to
here with my
achieve their
feet up,
goals.
though.
Once
This could
they've
be it.
toppled
Oh,
Iran, and
wake
once
me
they've
up in a
conquered
couple
the Middle
hours.
East, they've got the Middle East under their thumb one way or another. Once they've achieved that, they will then blame everything that they've been doing, everything that they've done for the past 30
come
odd
wake
years,
me up,
they
man.
will
I'm
blame
gonna
it on
fucking fall
Benjamin
asleep.
Netanyahu. They will use him as a scapegoat
shit.
for all this. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Oof.
Do you see where I'm going with this?
We're losing
You
here,
build up
guys. What
Benjamin
are you up to
Netanyahu
anyway,
as the
friend?
evil guy, as
How
the
goes it?
tyrannical leader in Israel, and you blame everything on him over the past 30 years. And then, once you've accomplished the goal, once you conquered the Middle East,
What are you
then
doing?
elect a new guy, and he says all the right things. He says we should be friends with everyone in the Middle East. We should create peace in the world. He seems like a new leader of Israel that everyone likes, and he's saying and doing all the right things. But by then,
Eric
the job is
Trump.
already done. They've already destroyed the Middle East. They've already done the damage. The damage is done. They've accomplished their goal already. And therefore, people will forgive Israel. People will blame everything on Benjamin Netanyahu.
I mean,
But it's the same
he's
people.
not
It's the
wrong.
same
I already do that
government.
right now. If I was a kid in elementary school right now and my homework
Now, can
wasn't
you
done,
see why I said
I would blame it on BB.
that even if Benjamin Netanyahu was
Unless
dead,
you're
they
that
would
girl
have to
who
keep him
fucking said the
alive.
thing about the
They have to
bonbons
keep
and
him
then
alive
got her
using artificial
shit
intelligence.
smacked
They
up.
would have to do this because they
In
still
the
need
justice
him.
system,
They
I
still
guess,
need
non-justice.
his evil presence in order to accomplish their goals. The job is not done yet. Once the job is done, then he can go away. Then they can blame everything on him. See what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he is dead. I don't know if he's dead. I don't know. Does anyone know?
Oh, what a good time to be
that a lot
alive.
of
Like
the
I said, I know I
recent
said that
video
earlier,
footage
but
of
damn.
him does look like it was AI generated, so that is a bit strange, but who knows? I don't know. This is all just a fun theory as well. I
How
don't know
come they
what
get to make
Israel's
fucking
goal is in
AI
the Middle
videos
East.
of BB
This is just a fun
Netanyahu, and I
theory
tried to
from
make
some
one
random Welsh
cartoon
guy.
of
You
him
can
and
ignore all this.
Donald
But
Trump,
saying that,
and
can you
fucking
see that
my
they are
Gemini is
building
like,
BB
no,
up as
you
the
can't do
scapegoat?
that.
Can you see that they are building him up as the evil presence that is doing all this?
What a psycho
I can
this
see
guy
this.
is.
Some of the stuff he is saying is so outlandish. Some of the stuff they are doing is so outlandish. It's insane.
War crimes make me
Bombing schools and
tired.
hospitals. They will be more than happy to have someone
so
to blame
sleepy.
all that on once they've reaped the benefits. Can you see this? And you might think that Netanyahu would be unhappy with his legacy being one of a scapegoat or evil presence. You might think he would be unhappy about this, but that's not the case. He is more than happy to be the scapegoat his tribe requires. He is more than happy to be the sacrificial lamb, the mulk offering, the burnt offering that his tribe requires in order to succeed.
That's some
He will
weird
die
shit.
a very happy man, knowing that he has accomplished his goals.
Anyway, that's
and
probably enough
his
conspiracies for
children
right now.
will
I'm gonna
continue
fall
to live
asleep.
prosperous
Holy
lives
moly.
under the protection
War
of the tribe.
crimes make
It will
me
continue
at
that
risk
way.
of boom,
He is
bro.
more
I
than happy to
know.
be this.
I
He will
know,
die
dude.
a
I've
happy
been
man.
bummed out. I've literally been bummed out all day long. Like, I hope you know. I hope you know how bummed out I am about all this. I know I'm sure I fucking, but yeah, I'm like real bummed out. It's sleepy apparently, but I'm glad you're still here. Glad last night wasn't your last stream. Oh God. Laura Loomer, what a fucking weirdo. It's very fitting for the time. I saw this show live, not this one specifically, this was in Mexico City, but this exact tour I saw. Tell Jimmy about all of... Oh, yeah, no, trust me, I already told her. As soon as she got off last night, I was like, holy fuck, dude, what am I gonna do? Ugh. I did say I was gonna make you a shirt, too. No, I'm not gonna make you a shirt. I'm actually not gonna have to make you a fucking shirt. I need to put my baby turtle to sleep real quick. Okay, make sure you don't feed it any pickles, though. Riker Web, okay. Oh, I didn't mean to fucking. The strangest appearance of Riker Web. Do you just like look up jacked up stuff all the time, bro? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Yo, tubers, what's back? What's back? Well, you're back, but where is my green screen right now? This camera follows me around too somehow, and I don't know. It's freaking me out though. I gotta move that fucking camera. Oh, I'm fucking.
A miraculous story of survival.
Days that he was missing, and we're going to be exploring the possibilities of what might have happened to this little 3-year-old boy in the backcountry of Montana for those days he was missing.
No, I just
To
like
put
true
it
crime.
shortly,
I mean, that's fair. I
3-year-old
also really like
Riker
true
Webb
crime, so I
disappeared
get you.
in a small town known as Troy.
How are the audio levels?
Troy
all right,
is
good,
in
bad.
Lincoln County, Montana,
Probably shouldn't
which
talk
is
over the video.
furthest northwestern county in the state. That detail will matter later. I'm not just yapping. He was outside in his front yard when he disappeared.
You guys getting like
His
double
father was
feedback
originally
from
out
the
there
audio,
with him,
like
but
the
he went
video
inside for a few minutes
itself?
to grab something. He came back out. Riker was gone. A then 2.5-day search ensued for Riker.
I
the local
do,
sheriff
yeah. I really like
and
true crime actually a
volunteers
ton. That's
combed
probably
the
like my
woods
favorite
around the surrounding
pastime.
area
Not my
to try
favorite
to find
pastime,
where
but
Riker went.
it's amongst.
He was eventually found, but the circumstances
Murder-
under which he
I
was
just call it
found
murder
do not
porn.
add up to me and
Well,
to many
South Park
others.
called it
So
that,
that is
but
what we're going to be examining in this video. Stay tuned and let's dive into it, shall we? The small town of Troy, as I mentioned earlier, is a small part of Lincoln County, Montana. Troy itself has just 833 residents that live there, making it a very non-populated area. Montana as a whole is known pretty much for its low elevation when it comes to
Nah, you're just
mountains.
loud.
It's one of the mountain states, but its
Fair
average
enough.
elevation statewide is only 3,400 feet,
Nah, you're just
which in
loud.
the grand scheme of things is really small
Is
for
this
a
a little bit
mountain
better?
state. However, the elevation in Troy
try
and
not to
Lincoln County
scream,
is only
but I also turned my,
1,800 feet,
master
so
volume
way
down a little
less than the already low state average. Troy itself is known for its beautiful lakes and rivers and streams and its idyllic scenery and
looks beautiful.
tributaries
Holy crap.
and its soft rolling hills with dense forests. There are populations of bears and mountain lions.
It looks very much just like Maine.
And other wildlife like that you think you might see in Montana.
I live in
But
Troy.
overall, it's just a
Oh.
very peaceful rural town.
Shiza, dude,
and that
that's
is just what
wild.
the Webb family loved about it. It's a very homey, remote place to raise a family and to enjoy nature.
Full
The
screen
day
it?
of Riker's
Give me just one
disappearance
sec. I gotta,
wasn't really an
me do
abnormal
this.
day. Everything was pretty usual. Riker Webb was playing in the front yard with his dad and his dog, and they were running around, goofing off, doing typical 3-year-old stuff.
Shit.
The story goes that in the middle of playing with his dog and with his dad, Riker wanted to take a break from playing, and he wanted to go around the yard and search for bugs. Now, Riker is not alone in his liking of bugs and interest of them. Well, I remember being a 3-year-old myself and loving bugs. I used to have one of those little toys that could suck up bugs into that little container thing. I'm sure all of you had those too. Bugs are just really fascinating to kids.
Suck
So
up
Riker
bugs,
was,
bro?
running
That
around
was
the
a
yard,
thing?
picking up rocks, digging dirt up, trying to find insects. Plus, it was in the middle of summer in Montana, a mid-June day. The weather wasn't bad, the sun was out. It was a perfect day for this. During the middle of Riker's search for bugs and the turning over of rocks, his dad went back inside to look for something. Now, I really couldn't find exactly what he was looking for or why he went inside. Those details are kind of fuzzy in the case, and trust me, I combed all the research I could, but I cannot find why he went inside. We just know that he went inside. When he did so, he left Riker in the capable hands of their dog. They had a family dog out there with him.
Yep.
Plus,
that's
they were in a
exactly
very
who I
small
leave
town.
my kids with every
near
time
the
I have to go
woods.
inside.
What's really
Finley.
going to happen?
I
your
definitely
boys
trust
just playing in the
Finley
front
to
yard
watch
with the
my
dog.
children.
Several minutes later, his dad came back
Probably
outside
not.
and was pretty stunned to see that Riker wasn't there and his dog was acting anxious. Now, the anxious dog thing, again, is an unfor-sure fact because only a few sources had that included. That could have been a misnomer from a reporter or a false report in general. But the dog may or may not have been acting anxious. But what we do know is the dog was there. The dog did not follow Riker, which is pretty interesting because dogs are protective and typically will follow their people. Immediately after realizing that Riker was not in the yard, he started looking around the front yard, the backyard, the wood line, everywhere that he could feasibly get himself. The dad was looking, calling out to his son, yelling his name, to no avail. He couldn't find a trace or any sign of him.
There we go.
It's as if Riker literally just vanished out of thin air.
Who is this?
After
Who's
this,
what?
the
This guy right
horrifying
here, it's,
reality
talking about
that your
some
son is
kid,
missing began
some
to set
Riker
in for
Webb,
the
he was
family.
a 3-year-old
The
kid
dad
that went
then told
missing
the
in
mom
the
what
town
happened,
that Houston
and they
lives in.
contacted the sheriff's department of Lincoln County 2 hours after Riker went missing. Now, this is the first weird spot in the case for many people, because in their eyes, why would you wait 2 entire hours to call the police if your son's missing? Would you not, look for 10 minutes and then call the police? 2 hours seems extensive. But then again, they might have not
Coyotes,
wanted
it
to
could be
cause a scene or
coyotes. I
freak
mean,
anybody out.
The dingo ate your baby. I mean, why wouldn't the coyote eat your baby? Dude, maybe like house cat. A fucking house cat could eat your baby, essentially. Like, if it wanted to. Like, if you got a big enough cat, Luigi could probably take out a full-grown baby. Just a thought. I don't know. Yo, people. I see there's a couple people in here. Make sure you hit me with a little like, thumbs up. Give me a little thumber, double thumber.
Was a very
It's
small
been a
town. They didn't
cruel,
want to
cruel
cause panic,
summer.
perhaps. We don't know. But we do know that 2 hours after that, the Lincoln County Sheriff's Department was notified, and almost immediately, a proper search ensued for Riker. A search team of 50 volunteers and policemen set out to try to find Riker and combed the immediate area
I'm sure that's
near the
like
family's
something to
property
just, like,
and
make
near
sure
the
you know
neighborhood.
who's all here,
They
I
were looking
guess,
for
maybe,
anything.
but, like,
Footprints,
what a
toys,
weird,
bugs,
cheerful,
anything
like,
that
group
could
of
lead
faces to
to
have for
Riker
a
at all.
search
They were
party
looking
for a
for it.
3-year-old.
This search began just a couple hours after Riker went missing, and the parents called the cops. And the police force even brought in smelling dogs, and they brought in drones, and even a helicopter to try to look through the brush and search for Riker. He was wearing a jumpsuit with dinosaurs on it, and he had red hair and blue eyes. He was a pretty easy kid to spot. I mean, he would look out of place in the woods. Trust me. Sheriff Short from the Lincoln County
Trust me,
Police
when I was
Department
chasing
also
him through
issued
the
a
woods,
red alert
he looked
to
very
the
out of place.
neighboring counties and to people inside of Lincoln County that Riker was missing. They gave his age, his name, his specifics of where he went missing, what he looked like, and pretty much they thought it was going to work. I mean, realistically, how far could a 3-year-old boy walk off to, The group searched for 3 hours
I don't know,
with
man.
what was left
3-year-olds
of
be
the
crazy.
summer
There
sun.
was,
And
in Woodland, like where I went to high school, there was this like, she was in like kindergarten. She was like older than 3, but she was a tiny little girl. She had walked like 2 miles to the grocery store in the snow, like just for shits, I guess. I have no idea, but just like decided to go and went for it. Dude, little kids be crazy. They're humans. They're us. Just like they just can't use words as well, and like their legs are chunkier, I guess. I don't know, but like there's no way that I can't believe, or there's no world where I don't believe that like a 3-year-old would be like, yeah, I want to go to get a snack. Mom goes here to get a snack. Mom goes wherever to do this. Like, I don't know. Just seems odd. Oh, shit. I don't have any of my chats up. I don't know if anyone's saying anything. Oh, my God. You're so tiny in the corner. Oh, yeah. I'll make myself bigger 1 minute. I gotta make sure I put a chat somewhere so I can fucking see what's going on here. Make sure Bronson's not saying fucking wacky things about me. Make that bigger. Okay. Full screen. And then bring the chat box over here. You guys can't see that. No. Okay.
And they had to call it quits. Because right at that 3-hour mark, a massive, huge thunderstorm hit the area. Lightning and thunder and rain poured down, and that would pretty much dampen everything.
Lions and tigers
the dogs
and
went
bears,
home,
oh
the drone
my.
went home, the helicopter went home, and it was just a few policemen on foot left to search that night. The places they were
Ty's
searching
best
were
friend's
the
mom got
immediate
arrested
wooded
because
areas
she walked into
near
Dollar
the
General Loan in
Webb
Georgia.
residence. These areas
that's
were
wild.
known to have
Like, something
wildlife
that
such
is
as
just so
bears and
crazy
mountain
to me.
lions patrolling them.
Like, I remember when I
and
was
you couple
little, my
that
parents used to
with
just
the
leave my
darkness
ass
and
at
the
home.
thunderstorm.
They're like,
and
nope, you
the
don't want to
hopes are
go?
not
Okay,
high
fine.
for Riker
Stay
at this
at home.
point. And after the rain hit, the mood began to dwindle down. The next morning, the search restarted.
So, like,
It was
he walked
June
into the
4th,
dollar
the
store
sun
by
was out,
himself,
and
like,
it was
where-
great weather. This time, the searchers and volunteers
Where was
specifically
everybody
targeted
else?
an
Like, were they
area
in the
of
store?
woods
Were they in the car?
outside
Like,
of the neighborhood.
they not
that the
notice
Webbs
he was
lived in.
leaving?
It was kind of adjacent to the south. This area, too, was known for its wildlife. There's been literal sightings of bear and mountain lion here, and it was not a safe place, especially in the summer at nighttime. As they entered this different region of the forest, they began to find a weird clue. It was the first sign of Riker, though. They located what seemed to be strange piles of rocks on the ground.
There you go, Bronson. Is that better for you?
It was deduced that these piles
it was like a mile
were
away from
rocks that
home. His
Riker
mom didn't
might
know.
have been
So it was the
carrying
same
with him
idea.
from
For some
flipping them
reason, in
upside
my
down and
head,
trying to
I
find
thought that they
bugs
were like
underneath.
parked,
You know,
had
you
gone
walk
to
through
the
forest,
Dollar
you get a
General,
rock, you look
and
under
just
it, there's a
went in
bug,
on their
you
own.
keep the rock in your hand.
See, it's like
It seems
they
like
get
he just
arrested for
randomly
stuff like
dropped
that, but
these
it's like
rocks in different
honestly,
places
that could just be a
after he was
bad
done
moment where
looking under
something like
them,
that
and
happens.
It was
like,
sort of in a way
your
to
sleep
discard them. They had no real sense of direction, so it wasn't like he was leaving a trail, but they were the
you're
first
sleep
clue that
deprived,
Riker
like,
had been here.
all this wacky stuff's going on, and like your kid just decides that like, oh,
Town
mommy's
called
laying down for a
Sanders
minute,
County.
I'm gone.
And after
Daddy's
scanning
laying
these
down for a
woods
minute.
for
Daddy's
an
working
entire
out.
day,
Daddy's doing
the only
whatever.
notable thing that was
Cooked.
found
See
was
you
the
later,
stones.
dude. You come out
there
and
was
your
no
heart
Riker, there was no
sinks.
clothes,
And
there was
you're
no
like,
footprints. These stones were all
where's
that
the
they could
kid?
find. Day 1 and day 2, the half of
The
the first
mom.
day and all of the second day yielded nothing.
There
Now
were
on the morning of
times
that
where,
third
like, I
day,
would
the
take
long-awaited
trash
call came through to the Lincoln
like
County
his
Sheriff's
Mimi's
Department.
house.
Riker had been
to drop him
found.
off so I could
He
go
was
to work.
alive, and he was inside of a shed
And, like,
2.4 miles away.
I would get
from
almost
his
halfway
house in
back,
Lincoln County.
and they'd be like, "Oh
The
my God,
shed
where the
was
fuck is
located
Trey?"
along a stretch of
Because he wasn't
road
in the car
known
anymore.
as Pine Ridge Road, and it was across the county line
And then
in
I was like, "Oh
Sanders
yeah, I
County.
just
The
dropped
total
him off."
distance from the yard where he disappeared to the shed he was found in was 2.4 miles. And immediately,
Yeah, 1 minute,
several red flags shot county
Oh,
to
shit,
the
I'm
Lincoln
running too far.
County Sheriff's Department. Riker had been found. He was alive, and he was inside of a shed 2.4 miles away from his house in Lincoln County. The shed was located along a stretch of road known as Pine Ridge Road, and it was across the county line in Sanders County. The total distance from the yard where he disappeared to the shed he was found in was 2.4 miles. And immediately, several
Impressive, dude.
red flags shot up in the investigator's eyes and in witnesses' eyes as well. How did a 3-year-old kid in a onesie survive 2 full days and half a night in the woods of Montana when it thunderstormed and rained and lightninged and he had nothing to eat and nothing to drink? How was he doing this
Baby
good?
fat.
After Sheriff Short
that's what
in the
babies are
Lincoln County
chunky
Police
for,
Department
right?
got that update,
So
he
if they ever have to
himself
walk
went
2
down to
miles, they got
Sanders
it.
to check on Riker, make sure it was him, make sure it was okay, and that's what he did. When he arrived, he saw a decently healthy and in okay spirits Riker Webb. The only physical damage on the child was a few bruises on his face and a few scratches on his legs, and he was kind of skittish and shy.
Could he not
but Sheriff
talk?
Short believes that
Like,
was
could
because
he
was
not,
surrounded
like,
by
kinda
men in uniforms.
articulate what the
I
fuck
guess that freaked him
happened
out.
here?
I'm sure being missing in the woods for 2 days didn't make his mental state better, but that's beside the point. He was visibly terrified until Sheriff Short assured him that they were going to take him to his mom and dad and everything was going to be okay. After that, he kind of perked up, his eyes got a little bit of light in them, and he seemed more lively and more like a kid again, and not like a shell shock victim. They then put little Riker in the back of an ambulance, and that is when this famous image was taken. The first image after Riker's disappearance.
Holy shit,
As you can
dude.
see, his eyes are huge and wide
I
open.
mean, he looks like he was
battered, and he
outside
looks
for two and a
tired,
half
and he
fucking
looks
days.
terrified.
Like,
Almost like
honestly,
he saw a ghost or something.
holy moly.
The homeowners who found
Yikes,
Riker
that's
were just
so-
as shocked as everybody else was about him being
Finley.
there. He was in
Finley was lost for like 5 days last year during January on the coldest 5 days of the year. And they found him like down the road in a barn. He was gone for 5 days. I was like, this is the second time he'd run away. Like, he'd never run away before. We got Juniper from my ex, and then he just decided to start running off all the time because he's a fucking dipshit. He hasn't done it since that last time, but yeah, it's just fucking wild. Like, I thought he was dead. Could have swore to God he was dead. I gotta rewind it a little bit. I don't know. Yo, we're going to look up the before and after pictures.
after Riker's disappearance.
Like,
as you can see,
like
his eyes
look
are
them
huge
up, you
and
mean?
wide open. He looks battered, and he looks tired, and he looks terrified. Almost like he saw a ghost or something. The homeowners who found Riker were just as shocked as everybody else was.
Yeah,
about him
imagine
being
going
there.
into your shed.
He was in
and
a
finding
random
little fucking
shed
kid
on the
all,
corner
like,
of their
spooky-eyed
property
like that.
in the middle of nowhere.
I would drop dead.
Initially, they
I would
had no
actually just
idea
drop
how he even
dead.
got inside of the shed because
Brown,
there was a
it's
door,
me,
and he was
Abel.
3
What's
years
going on,
old.
friend?
But the
How
reason they
goes
went
it?
to
How
search that
goes
shed
it?
was because one day
Hope
they
all
were
is well.
walking back
Hope
to
all
their
is
property,
well.
and they heard this blabbering, clamoring, murmuring noise, and they thought it was actually an animal stuck inside trying to scratch his way out. When they opened the shed, they were
How's it going
shocked
anyway, friend?
to see a
Make
little
sure you hit
kid
me the little
frightened
thumb. I
in the
just went and
corner.
subscribed to your
Riker was
page, like I
taken
said
to
I
his
would
parents
forever
and to
ago.
the hospital to make sure everything was okay,
All right,
and
let
the
me look him
police put together a story to try to make sense
Riker
of
Webb.
what happened to this kid. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Department was not shy about putting a little bit of blame on the parents for neglecting their kid. But they didn't find them at fault or anything. They weren't blaming them. They were kind of just like, hey, it's not good to leave your kid unattended in the front yard
Oh my God.
in Montana. But Sheriff Short came together and made this story. His timeline of events goes like this. Riker got bored with finding bugs in his front yard, so he walked to the nearby tree line to try to find more. The dog didn't follow for some reason, and he just continued to find more and more rocks, bobbing and weaving him through the woods. He got lost somewhere after that and ran around in an unknown direction until he eventually found the shed, and he got in the shed to take refuge from the storm. Because you remember, that first night, late in the night, there was a big storm. So perhaps Riker got to the shed in time, even though it was 2.4 miles away. Sheriff Short says he might have been smart enough to try to search out for shelter because of the thunderstorm, and that's how he managed to find the shed. And then he stayed there for a full day and a half on his own. That's the story the police department cooked up. Let's discuss what might have actually happened, because that explanation doesn't really make sense on how a 3-year-old traveled 2.4 miles in backcountry Montana and ended up in a shed. The biggest issue with this disappearance is that Riker was 3 years old, and 3-year-olds need food and water each day. They're developing little people, and they need to eat a consistent food basis and water too. And when Riker was found, he wasn't severely dehydrated, and he wasn't severely malnourished. He was kind of just scared. Adult humans can only go about 3 full days without water before their body begins to shut down, and Riker was almost there, but his body...
the human will to survive, I feel. This is just my thoughts on it. I like his video. I'm just saying, like, bro, he's 3 years old. Like, that's 900 days, like, over 1,000 days around the fucking sun. Like, he could probably do some shit. He's probably talking. Like, 2 miles? Like, when you walk 15,000 feet under that? Under 15,000 feet? Because that'd be 3 miles, roughly. No, 5280 times 3 would be 56. No, 15.6. No, 15.76 something. I think. My math is so bad. I'm so fucking sleepy right now. I don't know if you can see it in my soul, but I'm fucking losing it here. Show them. Brown, are you sleepy? Yeah, no, I am sleepy. I'm so sleepy. It's like hitting me right in the fucking eye strings. Don't worry about me. He's doing nothing over here. Oof. I keep clicking on the fucking
He wasn't about to shut down.
Clicking on my
So was somebody
OBS to
feeding
start
him
the video,
food
and it's
giving him
not.
water? Or was
It's
something
not what I need to be clicking.
giving him water and food? We also have to assume that Riker was terrified while being stuck in the woods. I mean, his mom and dad weren't there. His dog wasn't there. He was alone with the big trees and the scary noises for 2 nights. So how could a terrifying kid
it wasn't
not get
night the entire
dehydrated
time.
and not get hungry and not get more scratched up than he was? Some take this to mean
kid
that
looked completely
Riker was
different. He
lured
looked
out of his
fucking
front
wildly
yard
different.
by a kidnapper that possibly put him in that shed and ended up leaving the scene once that red alert was sent to all the phones and all the technology in the area. Maybe
Why
the
wouldn't the
kidnapper
kid
freaked
just
out
leave the
and
shed
was like,
then?
I can't do it, so they just left him there. Riker's emotional health was also a red flag for people witnessing this case. Many said that he wasn't actually too traumatized, he was more just a little bit scared. He wasn't as freaked out as you'd think a 3-year-old would be after just being stripped away.
He looks like he got abducted by aliens. Like, he looks crazy. That kid right there, crazy. Just kidding. Hey, 20 hunter, boy, let's go. I just need fucking bird's nests with a seed in it. I need to get a fucking seed right now so I can plant this tree so I can get the roots from it so I can do a goddamn quest. And it's ticking me off. The seed is supposed to be like 1 in 7 of every bird's nest you get, but you don't get a bird's nest every single time, and this has been so annoying. But yeah, I think I'm actually gonna go take a nap here. How much? Oh, we got a little bit longer.
Away from your family for almost 3 days in the woods. He wasn't that freaked out. He was kind of just sad. So this might mean that if somebody took him or locked him in that shed somehow, that it was a person, and that person was keeping him calm in a way, or telling him it was going to be okay or something. Because he wasn't crying, he wasn't yelling, he was just murmuring when they found him.
I'm sure that he
So
did
unless
at
this
some
3-year-old
point.
has more emotional control than me, somebody must have been calming him down.
I feel like this is just like an outside observation, obviously. Like, I have no idea what this man's like life is like, but it seems that like he has very yeah, grab a power nap. I do need to. I need to get a snack and a power nap. I just want to say one more thing about this because I don't know if anyone else is like. I feel like this man has no like the concept of like emotions and like mood. Well, I guess that'd be the same thing, but like they all kind of like shift, right? Like progressively over time. Like just because he wasn't crying when you found him doesn't mean that he wasn't crying at some point. Like just because he said he wasn't hungry when you found him doesn't mean that he didn't like have an upset, tired, like hungry stomach. That's just what confuses me. Like he's making a lot of like, oh, he wasn't like this, he wasn't like that, and it's like, because you only found him after you found him. Like you don't know what happened the entire time. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But it's been real. It's been fun. I'm gonna go power nap or at least do something here for a minute. Try to like maybe drink some caffeine or something. Woof. But yeah, I'll be back. BRB. Appreciate you all. Peace, love, applesauce. I don't know why I say that, but yeah. Where's my fucking OBS at? Yo, 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 yo. Bye.